Weston wants to know, what are your top 5 WWE debuts or re-debuts of all time based on the shock factor and pop? Uh, Jericho, Kane, and even the more recent Cody Rhodes are a few that come to mind for me. I mean, Kane's got to be your number one, right? I mean, Jericho was a big one, but Kane, you were just in love with that story. So that's
I
pretty
was
big.
in love with that story. I think that Kane was one of the greatest debuts of all time. When you look back, I think that the very first appearance of the Big Show,
Yes, that was a big one.
St. Valentine's Day Massacre, that was a huge debut and made a lot of big impact. I wasn't there, but you and I were in Orlando when the Hardys came back at WrestleMania.
That was a big one.
Big holy shit moment. And you kind of go back and look at different times.
The Undertaker,
the American Badass,
Sting. You weren't there for that one, but Sting was a big one. AJ was a big one.
Yeah, but okay, I'm just going through the time when I was there. I think American Badass was a mega hit and a big holy shit moment. Triple H coming back out off of his hamstrings was one of those holy shit, blow the roof off the place. Steve coming back when, Steve, after he had been off and we weren't sure whether or not he was going to be okay with his neck way back when, coming back was one of those just goosebump holy shit moments.
Yeah, no doubt. And I realize that I'm a bit of a homer, but the Eric Bischoff the concept of him being on TV, being on Monday Night Raw, that was, at the time, I remember being like, what the hell is going? I mean, that's a big deal.
That was a huge deal because, Eric had historically been on WCW and was that evil, mastermind that 83 weeks dominated the ratings. And for Eric to be on, that was a holy shit moment.
Here's from Mitchell Barnett. He wants to know, Bruce, who's on
my boy? Oh, wait. Oh, Mitchell.
Who's on your Mount Rushmore of wrestling promoters?
Wow. I mean, I think Vince, obviously, I think Vince is number one.
Duh. You got to put Bosch on there. He's your boy.
I do have to put Bosch on there because Paul was a true promoter, and you have to view it through the eyes of who was a promoter, who was a marketer, who was a booker. Paul was a promoter's promoter. Vince McMahon Sr. was a promoter. I think that Jim Barnett, even though, people would say, oh, Jim was a promoter. And as years went on, Jim Crockett was a guy that owned a business. Jim didn't promote. Dusty Rhodes was a promoter. And even though Dusty didn't have that moniker, if you will, that's what Dusty did. Dusty was a promoter. So that'd probably be it. The two Vinces, Paul and a Dusty.
Well, there you go.